get the bag,
bag.
Secure the bag, and then let everything else just kind of do its thing. So
yeah, that's a fact. You sold what, the roofing company, right?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
And you still able to?
We sold them in Georgia.
You still able to keep a percentage of it, right?
Yeah, we kept both me and my business partner both kept 21% of these.
Man, that's some gangster shit, man.
Yeah. Well, if they grow it, they fucking we keep growing it and we sell it off. Actually, it's wild when you look at some of the fucking numbers, because once private equity gets involved and they start really growing, like the company continues to grow and greenfield, all this shit, you get the financials, and they teach you how to, hey, we got to cut expenses, we got to do all these things, and they start, a lot of what they do though, they don't actually do anything, but they just give you data and reporting and these different ways to look at your business, or they help you, like they helped us hire a CFO that was a really high level fucking CFO, and that guy's bringing in 2 or 3 team members. And so our finance department went from one of the weakest parts of the business to one of the strongest parts of the business, because now our reporting is on fucking point. We know exactly where every dollar's going. So now where sales used to be our strongest point, sales is actually one of the weaker parts. So now we're diving back into sales, reconfiguring things on the sales side, figuring out how to retain more of the people we're recruiting, like changing sales comps, like doing all, getting rid of certain components, like finding out, hey, where our average days and status before a sales guy gets paid when he calls in this many roofs, and but the data just tells you so fucking much about your business.
That's good.
And it just kind of puts puts everything out on the table. And
yeah.
It's like when everything's out on the table and you can see it all, you can just make a lot more and better decisions.
Nah, that's good, man. That's good, bro. Yeah. I'm glad to hear that, bro. That's just the goal, bro. As an entrepreneur, bro, you gotta just, you put things in place, man. So, that's why I love talking to you, bro. It's always giving me a different perspective on business. How I'm putting stuff together, bro. Yeah, man.
Hey, how's everything going? You happy? You happy with the way the roof's going? Is everything up to your standards? Have guys been taken care of? I just want to make sure you were happy with everything.
Nah.
They found a little leak or something they were fixing, but other than that.
Yeah, nah, it's good, bro. Like, I ain't gonna lie, they came up there and knocked that shit out, you hear me? They had their business on it. I think we just waiting on the metal right now. Then once we get that, they'll come later. He already told me about a week and a half. They'll come, they'll knock all that out, and then they'll be finished. So, I'm kind of excited about that, because once they do that, I'm going to bring in the guy to finish the cabling. So once he finishes the cabling, we can then throw the big screens up. So, that way we ain't worrying about no rain no more. So now I like that. I appreciate that, bro. You definitely,
great.
You definitely came through clutch with that.
Good to hear, man. I'm glad. Yeah. I'm really glad.
I appreciate it.
And how was everything else in Leon's world?
Yeah, bro. You got some snags here and there that you're figuring out. But I just chalk it up to being part of the game. As we grow and as we, for me, it's putting the business in place. So we hired a chief of staff, I hired a fractional chief of staff. I hired a corporate attorney, so just figuring how that fits. And then I hired a CFO. So I think just figuring out how those pieces come together. So they fly in, the chief of staff, and when we bring in a strategic planner, so we hired that in, a chief strategy officer per se, but the chief of staff actually brought him in. So we gonna do is just sit down with the director of ops and just whiteboard the thing, and it's more so just for the building. You know what I'm saying? More than anything, it's getting the functionality of the building together, because the building becomes a different company. That's kind of my goal, bro. Like, my goal is to not have the WallstreetTrapper brand on the front end of it. Like, let the Freedom Center be its own entity without me. You know what I'm saying? But I can still be kind of like front facing, like pushing people to it once it get going. But then once it get going, the goal is the Freedom Center to take on a life of its own from the experience. So whether you're shooting a podcast, whether you have an event, whether you're doing a master class, whatever you want to do, the Freedom Center takes its own identity. And then the education business and then the apparel business, we actually pay the Freedom Center and the media company. We actually pay the Freedom Center for hosting us. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, so the education business pays the Freedom Center, the apparel company pays the Freedom Center, and then the media company all pays the media center. And then now what happens is, from the commercial perspective, now the media, a business already now has 3 different streams of income coming in. But then now we start doing events and podcasting, and then we're gonna add a live trading room. So the live trading room then becomes membership based. So that's just in the first building. So the trading room, the podcast.
That's cool.
Yeah. So it's to build the models outside of me. You know what I'm saying? Because I think a lot of entrepreneurs, you know, you die on a sword. You know what I'm saying? Where you go, where you don't go, that's where the business go at. And so for me, it's, I don't want to die on a sword. I want the building to be able to do what it do. And then once we get the model right, we take the building and take the whole blueprint and go do it again. And then, you know, there's the other building. So one of the buildings is 30,000 square feet. The building next to it is 20,000 square feet. So the other building is co-working space and a gym with a health spot. And so now the model becomes for me to go get a 40,000 square foot building everywhere I go at, get 6 more of them, follow the same model, and then package them all up as $100 million buyout.
I like that. I think that's a fucking good idea.
Yeah. So that's the 10-year plan, bro.
Are you? And I'm just asking. Do you already have the media company entity, right?
Yep, we got the media, but I'm about to change the name of it. So I brought in a production guy, and what he told me was something that was real dope. He was like, I know you about to live and die with Wall Street looks like us now. He was like, and that's good, but if you think of a media company, that name is too long. So you can make that a subtopic, and that can still be a name that you push really hard. But for the media company, like, think about it. You know, it's Fox, it's Disney, it's, you know what I'm saying? Like, you want to kind of, he's like, so what if you can
shorten it? IBM.
Yeah,
IBM,
so
business machine.
There you go. So if you shorten the name, but keep that as the model, and then let Wall Street looks like us now and be like the model of the media company, so you don't lose that component. He was like, yo, you know, he's like, you can do what you want to do, but you paying me to do this, so I'm gonna give you an idea that better serves you. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to think about scalability. So we just went through some stuff. I was like, damn, all right, that makes sense. So we kind of been just, I came up with a couple names, you know, that I kind of play with. Again, I'm gonna just pray on it, let God put it, but it definitely made a lot of sense. You know what I'm saying? Just to keep the Wall Street looks like us now as the model, as the banner, but then change the name to something that represents all of that. So, and then the goal is, you know, we got like 3 or 4 more shows that we want to create for the company. So, you know, that's just it, bro. And again, all of that, the goal is to have the different entities together. So I'm looking at like a 10-year play with my mind, like taking the real estate component, you know, and just buying the commercial buildings and running the same play. Because once you do it once, it becomes easily replicable. You know what I'm saying? So this is going to be the hardest to ever do, what I'm doing now. So once I get it, the systems, the operations, and then from there, you know, just change it up. But then it also gives the education another leg. And I know I'm kind of going into the depths of it, but it's giving the education company another leg, because what happens is when we look in this space, you know, it then becomes, Trap, how did you take this business, grow it to a, you know, revenue business that's generating not the education business, but the business model from the building. Now you step into the entrepreneur education space that says, yo, here's the systems, the processes, the leadership, here's the scale, here's the things you need to grow any business and scale it. And this is how I did it. So then that becomes the education piece that then teaches entrepreneurs from another scale, instead of just saying scaling your business is just about charging higher prices. You know what I'm saying? So it's no. This is how you scale the business the right way. You go from zero, because right now the building makes $0, right? And so now we can start bringing them entity structure where you say this is how you scale the business. So one of the things we're gonna also do with the corporate lawyer is, and this was, I never even understood no shit like this, but she was like, since you got Howard Enterprise, we need to create another holding company that owns Howard Enterprise, because Howard Enterprise owned the building. We need to create another company that owns Howard Enterprise, and that company owns all of the other companies. But then we'll create another holding company that owns all the intellectual property that all the other companies have, and then you lease the intellectual properties to the original business from the holding company. That way, if somebody ever sued the company can say, well, we don't own the intellectual property, so initially you just suing a shell, because the company makes no money without the intellectual property, and the holding company owns the intellectual property, and the original company is just leasing the intellectual property from the holding company. So I said, oh my God. So, it's just working through those different little things, bruh. And I know it's stuff that people don't know, because I'm learning it, and just I'm in a situation where, because I see the build out that I really want to build out, it takes time. It's not just an overnight thing. You know what I'm saying? But it's having structure, real structure in play to teach us how to protect each other, how to really grow and scale your business, how to hire, how to fire. So that's where I'm at, bro. I've been in a goddamn gauntlet. You hear me?
Gotcha.
But I love it. You hear me? I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
If you ever need any help, call me. I love this lawyer.
Oh yeah. She.
Hey, let me call you back in just 1 minute.
All right. So this is on the phone, my guy. Y'all want hearing that? You know what I'm saying? So, I was talking about the market. We were talking about the market, but